Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and I was always told I had a voice radio, so today we are going to be looking at Alolan Sandslash. Now, being an Alolan Pokemon, we have got a different typing here. We've got an Ice type, so we have got a Water type in the trading card game. And there's a lot to like about Alolan Sandslash. The Water type is really good at the moment. You're hitting for weakness against Volcanion. You get to use Rough Seas to heal your Pokemon, Hilltop Stream to search for your Pokemon, and Aqua Patch to attach extra energy. Links to the videos for Hilltop Stream and Aqua Patch in the description. And the good news is that because Alolan Sandslash is an Ice type, it's weak to Metal, not Grass in the trading card game. And of course, with Lurantis and Decidueye running around, it's really nice to be able to use a Water Pokemon, but not have that crippling Grass weakness. Now, Alolan Sandslash's ability is really nice. Just allows you to draw a card every turn. Of course, we've seen this ability on a Stage 1 Pokemon before. The Noctowl from Heart Gold Soul Silver had this ability, and although it saw a little bit of play here and there, it wasn't a massively widely played card. Really, playing a Stage 1 just to draw an extra card every turn, it's good, but it's just people don't generally tend to find the space. Now, don't forget, we've got a Rangaroo who can draw until you've got 3 cards in hand as a basic. We've got Octillery who can draw until you've got up to 5 and is a Stage 1 Water Pokemon. And, of course, we've got the ubiquitous Shaman that allows you to draw till 6 and is a basic Pokemon. So the question is, with the ability being kind of fun but probably not enough to play the card on its own, is there anything else that makes Alolan Sandslash worth a punt? And the answer is yes. The attack is pretty good. It's a hit and run attack like we've seen from cards like my personal favourite Donphan or more recently Umbreon GX. You do 50 damage for a Water colourless, and you switch Alolan Sandslash to a bench Pokemon. Now, don't forget that you can use a double colourless energy here to help pay the attack cost, and of course you've got Aqua Patch as well. 50 damage is a little bit low, but time you pop a Choice Band on there, you do 80. The problem is, I would want to do 90 here, because 90 with weakness will one-hit KO a Volcanion, and 90 without weakness will 2-hit KO something like an Yveltal. 80's 10 damage too low, and I know you've got Professor Kukui here, but then you're having to use a Choice Band and a Professor Kukui. It's a little bit awkward. Though as a pure hit and run Pokemon, still more damage than Umbreon. Although it doesn't have the awesome evolution that Umbreon has with the Energy Evolution Eevee, and it doesn't have the single energy attack. But let's just ignore that for the time being. What are you going to switch into? Now, we don't have many options for walls at the moment. By walls, I basically mean you hit and you switch into a Pokemon that your opponent doesn't want in the active, you wall them, and then you're going to be using Floatstone. Whatever you put up in the active has a Floatstone attached, and then during your next turn you retreat and off you go. Now, we've got, as far as I'm concerned at the moment, 2 that are worth pursuing. We've got Tauros GX. Now, you do have to be careful with Tauros GX. Tauros gives up 2 prizes, so it is a little bit awkward. But, of course, your opponent doesn't want to hit into Tauros, because then you can stop using Alolan Sandslash, start using Tauros, and get some cheeky KOs that way as well. And don't forget, you're already playing double colourless energy for Alolan Sandslash anyway. I do fear that if you use Tauros, though, your deck hasn't really got a linear strategy. Sometimes you want to be attacking with Tauros, sometimes Alolan Sandslash, and then when you face down a deck like Mega Rayquaza that can one-hit KO your Tauros, that could be a little bit awkward. The other option we've got is Wobbuffet, and I think Wobbuffet is a good option here. Wobbuffet in the active blocks abilities from all non-psychic Pokemon. So think of decks like Volcanion EX, no longer can be using their Steam Up ability. And of course, the big one at the moment is Decidueye. And if Decidueye is also playing Vileplume, then Wobbuffet turns off the Vileplume to give you your items and turns off Feather Arrow to protect your Pokemon. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, hang on a second, Ross. If you've got a Wobbuffet in the active, you can't use Alolan Sandslash's ability to draw a card. And that's true. But at some point during your turn, you're going to want to retreat Wobbuffet and put Sandslash back into the active. So just do that before you draw a card. It's not that big a deal. Now, annoyingly, back when we were using Donphan, there were much better options. You had Trevenant that you could use to block items. You had Robo-Sub, which was just an item that could get KO'd and you didn't have to give up a prize. And we had things like Reshiram and Zekrom that could take a hit and only give up one prize, not to mention the fact that Donphan had Strong Energy to do extra damage, Fighting Stadium to do extra damage, Focus Sash, which meant he wouldn't be KO'd. At least one hit KO'd. I mean, you see where I'm going with this? This is not like the old Donphan deck. Donphan had so many more toys than Alolan Sandslash has got. But as a budget deck, as a beginner deck, as a fun deck, I really like Alolan Sandslash. I don't think it's going to be a hyper-competitive deck. I don't think it's going to win a bunch of tournaments. But I think it's a Pokemon you need to have your eye out for because it could be fun. But let's get some real talk on for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 2 Wassy card. Doesn't mean I hate Sandslash. Doesn't mean I don't think it has any potential. It just means I don't think it's got the toys it needs. Now, if we get some better walls in the future, with all the advantages water decks already have, then I think Alolan Sandslash could be a lot better. Now, you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. There is a comment section. Go nuts, be nice. There are buttons to both like this video and subscribe to this channel, and I would be delighted if you would use them both. You can find me on Twitter, @TheWassy, and the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.